So, Miss Lasonya, is that how you say it?
Yes, it is.
Lasonya, yeah. Well, you want to tell the story about your son, and I understand. We wrote a column about it in the jail report based on the sheriff's report on Kirkland Grandstaff as your son, correct?
Right, correct.
Yes. And will you tell us what you say that it was much deeper than just a criminal trespass arrest or felony obstruction. You say there's a lot deeper story here. Can you tell us the story?
Yes, it is. Well, when I actually got home, he called me and asked me was I going to be able to take him to work that day. And I told him yes. I said, but I got to be back at work at 3:15, so be ready. When I got home, I kind of noticed he was kind of walking back and forth, fast. Usually, when he's in a manic state or starting to go into it, I can kind of calm him down and kind of just bring him back and just get him to a facility or a hospital. This particular time, I couldn't. So I walked outside and I just contemplated in my car. I said, Lord, I said, this could go either way. I said, if I call them, I said, are they going to be able to really assist me or is it going to go south? Well, we all know it went south. I called dispatch. Uh-oh.
Yeah, take your
Sorry.
time. Uh huh.
Okay. Okay, I called dispatch and I told her, I said, listen to me. I said, listen to what I'm going to say. I said, I am calling you for my black son. I said, who is bipolar 1. He's anxiety. I'm having a manic episode right now. I said, all I need for y'all to do is to get me some help so that I can have him escorted to the hospital or to a facility. I repeated to her again, and she, told me the information back. When the deputies pulled up, didn't take them maybe about 3 minutes to get here, 5 minutes to get here. I told them the same exact thing. I told both of them. I said, he's in a manic state right now. I said, he was supposed to be going to work. I said, and they could hear him. Like we were standing outside, but you could actually hear him inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
So when they got in, now mind you, I told you he had his uniform on going to work. When we got in the house, he had actually taken his clothes off and he was running down the hall. He barricaded himself in his room. Once the deputies walked down the hall and they were trying to talk to him through the door, it was just, it was kind of like I felt like, okay, this is not going to go well. They ended up kind of barging into the room. He was, I mean, he was in a state that I hadn't seen him in before because
Mm-hmm.
he was, offensive language, back and forth with the deputies. So I heard a struggle. When I heard the struggle, I went running down the hall. As I'm coming into the room, halfway, into the door, I see Deputy White punching him several times in his head. And I said, whoa, that's not what I called y'all for. And then they struggled trying to get him the handcuffs. So they were from the bed to the floor, back and forth. They finally got him in cuffs. They had called for backup. By the time backup got here, they had already gotten him in the cuffs. So they were telling him then, are you going to walk out or are we going to drag you out? So I'm like, Lord, please. I said, Kirkland, just get up. Please get up. So now there are 5 police officers in my house. One of the ones who was standing in the hallway, I just had it in my mind as a mom, you are not going in that room. It's not going to be 3 of y'all on my son in that room. So every time he moved, I moved. And so they were able to get him out and he walked out.
Yeah.
As he was walking out, I said, are you taking him to the hospital? And they said, no, we're taking him to jail. So then they said, obstruction of a law enforcement officer, 2 counts, and criminal trespass because he broke a picture frame in the house that was, the house he lives in. So I was like, I'm not, going to, do any charges for that. And she said, well, we saw it. So they did that. They put him in the patrol car. He was saying that he was dizzy. So she told me that they were going to call Gold Cross just to check him out. My brother ended up coming. You know how Gold Cross just went through the motions. I'm pretty sure they couldn't do a neuro check or anything on him because he was still in such a, just such a state. I mean, he wasn't himself at all. So this was on Wednesday, October the 6th. So they took him to jail. Um, so it was Wednesday, all day Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
part of the day on Friday. They didn't process him in. He didn't see medical. All they would say is he's in a cell right by booking. And one of the people, I forget the officer, I think it was Officer, I don't know if it was Coward, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing she said that they could see him, and that he was in the cell, he was fine. But you left a person who was in a manic state, who had obviously been hit in the head a couple of times, in a cell for basically, you might as well say 2 days,
Mm.
because it was part of the day on Wednesday, when he got there about 4, all day on Thursday, and then half of the day on Friday. They didn't process him in, I'm pretty sure, until after 3 o'clock.
Yeah. Will you
I
tell?
even went down to, I work on Riceboro Road, so I went down to Daniel Village and just found 2 officers just to talk to, because I was still just in such a frantic, like, how is this happening to somebody that I clearly told you he had some, mental issues. And one of the deputies told me that he did see him that morning because he had to take somebody over there.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, he's still, not calming down. Okay, well, obviously he's not, because he really needed treatment. So it's like a whole lot more to the story. I've talked to the commissioners. I've talked to 2 commissioners, Ms. Francis Scott. I've talked to Mr. Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to Georgia State Rep, Mr. Wayne Howard, about this. I've talked to, when I say I was just reaching out to the village, anybody that knew somebody that I knew, I was reaching out to them, because I was like, this is so wrong. I've sent emails to all the news stations. I've sent emails to Sheriff Roundtree, to the mayor's office. I said, because this has to stop. And people always want to say that police aren't trained to do this. Well, what they do is they take a crisis prevention, I think it's called a CIT. They take this course.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to help them in a crisis. Maybe if it would have been a little bit longer for them to stay at the door, or they would have known who to call, because I didn't. I've been dealing with this probably for about, the last couple of years have really been bad, but we've been to 4 different facilities. We had another incident at Doctor's Hospital, which was August the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
He had episode then. I took him over there. I talked to the PA that was with the psychiatrist. Well, we went that Friday night. That Saturday, the psychiatrist actually discharged him. And I was like, y'all gotta be kidding me. Not trying to send him to a facility or anything. And so I didn't pick him up until Sunday. But let me tell you what happened that night. We got to Doctor's Hospital, I'd say probably about 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go because he actually had broken the window. I had to leave, and I told him, I told the guy at the desk, I said, this is a mental health crisis. I said, are y'all going to go ahead and take him back? He told us to wait in the waiting area. So I told my son, I said, well, stay here. I said, I've got to go and let somebody in the house so they can board the window up, but I'm coming right back.
Mm-hmm.
Told the guy at the desk that I was leaving. I said, but I'm coming right back. I left, and I'd say maybe about an hour later, my son had walked all the way home from Doctor's Hospital, all the way home.
Really?
Yes. So I knew at the time, I said, well, you know what? I've got to get him back to the hospital. So I told him, I said, well, is your hand still hurting? And he was like, yeah. I said, well, you know what? Let's just go back over to the hospital. I said, get them to check it out. So, and that's what we did. And when I got there, and I told the guy at the desk, I said, he left, right? So he walked past the desk, he walked past security, and walked all the way home. We got back there, like I said, here we go again. The PA, she was very concerned, and I can tell she was like, yeah, he really does need to be admitted to a facility to be evaluated. Mm-hmm. Well, next day, here comes the psychiatrist and says that he can go home. So that Sunday, I'm talking to him on the phone, and he's like, I'm really discharged. So I told him, I said, let me speak to a nurse. The nurse gets on the phone, and she tells me that he's discharged. And I said, well, do you have any other facility you can send him to other than Serenity? Because he has a big phobia about that place.
Yeah.
And she says, she paused and said, no. I kind of thought she was lying, because I was like, I know you have Chatham County, and maybe some other places, but I knew that place for sure. The doctor, who was the psychiatrist, walks up, and he says to my son, hey, buddy, I thought I discharged you yesterday. Like he didn't have anything going on. So like I said, I'm one of those, I'm going to fight for him
Yeah.
because right now I know he's not in a state that he can fight for himself. And he doesn't even see the fact that, he clearly does have, some other issues going on.
Well,
So right now, I bonded him out yesterday, but the thing was, the judge stated that he has to go straight to a facility. Well, for me to find a facility to go to, they got to assess him first. I ended up, I called, what was it? I think Bluff Plantation that's here.
Yeah.
But I called and I talked to a guy there, and he actually put me in the, basically put me on a route where I ended up calling one person. That person called another person. They got in touch with the insurance company. So the ball is rolling. So right now they have him at university for a 1013. That's where the deputies took him to.
Yeah. What's the
So I
1013?
still haven't seen him. The 1013 is like when somebody comes in for a mental health crisis.
Okay.
And usually if the deputies usually bring him in, like I said, that night for Doctor's Hospital, I took him myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I felt like they didn't try and find a facility or try and find help for him.
Yeah.
So, this particular time, I've already started the ball rolling, just from the help of the gentleman that I talked to, at there. So hopefully today or tomorrow, he'll be going to a facility to get treatment. I mean, just to get evaluated again, because I don't know, he may have been misdiagnosed.
Well, you called us, and because we wrote a story about his arrest. What is your concern, and what do you want people to know, and what are you trying to get from the sheriff's office and commissioners? Like, what do you want to happen?
Well, the biggest thing is people, they have a stigma about mental health, and it's real life. Mental health is real, and it's happening to so many families. And I think in just the past couple of years, it's become this big attention thing for people who are celebrities, and everybody's saying that they've got something, which everybody probably does have something. I said, but the thing is just bringing this forward, because we're in a big city like Augusta, and you have really no, I would say, facilities that really treat and the mental health. I mean, you have Serenity, but everybody has that phobia about that place. You have Georgia Regional, same thing. Everybody has some kind of phobia. But you've got all of this outpatient mental health, but you have no inpatient. I know, like with my son, I said what he probably does need is a forensic eval. And that was coming from one of my clients, Tiffany Fowler. She had talked with me because, like I said, I was reaching out to anybody that I knew could help me.
Yeah. Well, so what when you talk to the sheriff's office, what are you wanting to get from them, and what are you wanting to tell them?
So basically, I want to know, as far as their deputies go with the training. I mean, you have these other states where you have a psychiatrist or somebody who is basically experienced in dealing with people who are going through mental health issues and crises at that time. For the sheriff department, I mean, we're the largest sheriff department in Georgia, and you're going to tell me you don't have a crisis prevention team or somebody that can come out instead of your deputies coming out and treating people and making people criminals that are not.
Yeah. And is that what you feel like happened here?
That's what I feel like happened. I mean, I really feel like, just like I told somebody the other day, I said, yeah, my son has a lot of issues and we're still trying to work through them and still trying to resolve them. But he didn't become a criminal until I called you to get him some help. And now he's stuck with 2 felonies and a criminal trespass charge.
Yeah.
Felonies, those are things they follow you for the rest of your life. You can't even vote with a felony and let alone get a decent job.
Yeah. Ultimately, does he have a diagnosis that you can tell us?
He is diagnosed with bipolar 1 and anxiety. But like I said, he's been to a couple of facilities, but he was misdiagnosed the first time he went somewhere. So when he went to another facility, that's when they said he was bipolar 1. The last medication that they put him on, I even told the psychiatrist then, that doesn't work for him, and he told them he doesn't like the way it makes him feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and you say he's able to maintain a job, correct?
Yeah, as long as he's in that calm, as long as he can kind of, like I said, the medication he's been on is not really working. All it does is make him sleepy.
Yeah.
But it does nothing to alter what may actually be going on as an imbalance in the brain.
So what was going on that day when you called for help? That would make him attack. The sheriff's office report says that he attacked them and he struck them in the face and he spit on them and he cursed at them and.
Now he cursed at them. Mm-hmm. He did. But when they barged their way into that room, I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever experienced somebody that's actually in a state like that. Mm-hmm. But just just to really, basically, bust into the room. You already got somebody that's in a state of mind. They don't even know who they are or what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that I think just put him way to the left, and I mean just put him in a whole different state, like they were really going to hurt him or harm him. Mm-hmm. In his mind, that's probably what he might have been thinking. I don't know.
If you had to do it over again, would you not call them
I would not.
What would you do?
I would just try and deal with it like I have been. Like I said, normally I'm able to talk him down. Mm-hmm. That particular day, it just was not happening.
Okay. And are you getting a reaction from commissioners and from the sheriff? Are they talking to you?
I've had reactions from the commissioner. Like I said, Ms. Scott and Mr. Clark, mm-hmm. both of them had called me. I've talked to both of them for about 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten any reaction so far from the sheriff department. I have called internal affairs. Mm-hmm. I called them twice. They told me it takes 30 days to investigate a case.
Do they say they are investigating it?
Well, that's what she said.
Okay. Well, listen, I hope you'll keep us updated on this. Was there anything else you wanted the public to know?
No, that's about it.
Well, good. And I understand you're going to be talking to some other media about this, trying to get his story out.
Just trying to get the story out. Like I said, mental health is a big thing, and it's a huge thing that we're just not dealing with as a society. Mm-hmm. We're just basically, I have to think about how many families this may have already happened to, mm-hmm. how many people may be sitting in jail right now because of a situation similar to this, if not almost exactly like it.
Yeah. Well, very good. Mental health is a huge issue right now, and they're talking about it, and they seem to be putting a lot of this on to law enforcement to handle. And like you said, it seems like we have a lot of criminals coming through the jail report that clearly have mental health issues, and they're choosing to deal with it by locking them up. Well, good. Thank you for telling your story, and I hope you'll keep us updated.
All right.
And good luck with your other interview.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Lasonya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.